Hi guys, welcome to another exciting time of Fuse Unbothered, brought to you by Upfront and Personal.
That's right, guys. Welcome to the show. Today is a new week, a new day. It's a happy Monday. You know, I always say that Friday to Monday is like Friday Monday. It always goes like that. Again, we're back. It's Monday, another day in the month of May.
That's
a working day, actually. And we are ready to grind and give you the juices. Today we are going to be talking about father-son relationship in this generation. Because this day and in this age, especially if you have a teenage son, how to deal with the excesses, the youthful exuberance, and all those kind of stuff is what we're going to be discussing today on Fuse Unbothered. Do not move a muscle. We'll be right back. Hey, turn up that volume. Turn it up.
One Africa Global Foods is here to cater to all your food needs. From your African foodstuffs like Indomie instant noodles, fresh palm oil, beverages like Amstel Malta, Maltina, One African Global Food got you. Sister Precious, it's high time to stop that embarrassment begging people to bring African food for you when you can get it in the city that you find yourself. Oh yeah, go to One Africa Global Foods right now and get all your authentic African local foodstuffs. Whether you are in USA, Canada, Dubai, anywhere, all those foods you want to cook, vegetable soup, you need palm oil to do it, afang, everything. You don't need to let people be muting you on WhatsApp. Oh. Sister Precious, no more embarrassment again. Oh. Now it's time to order all your African local foodstuffs. They will bring it to you wherever you are, to your doorsteps. Oh yeah, you hear me? Go to One Africa Global Foods right now. We're here and happy shopping. Mutane na duk inda kuke, One Africa Global Foods muna zuwa. Mes amis francophones, je sais que tout le monde va content parce que maintenant toute la nourriture africaine est là. Fuse Unbothered.
A lot of times you hear young men, say they're closer to their mom and all those kind of stuff because they probably experienced the iron hand of their father. Do you understand? And they probably had like a welcoming, response from their mom and all this kind of stuff, because at some point men tend to get very argumentative and opinionated, especially when you get to your teen age. From 13 like this, things just begins to look different. You just begin to create images. There's just this delusion as a young man when you are 13, like you begin to feel like I'm just going to leave this house, you just want that level of independence. And
I think as people start to grow, as children start to grow older, we start to see cases where there's daddy's daughter, daddy's girl, the girls are closer to their fathers, and there's mommy's boy, and mommy's boy has caused a lot of problems. It has caused a lot of problems.
The funny thing is that we do not see these things as pay attention to the details, but a lot of people are actually mommy's boy, and it's always mommy's boy. I've been noticed because
are you serious? Like a lot of guys are mommy's boys.
A lot of guys share things with their mom.
Okay, so there's sharing things with your mom. Then there's mommy's boy. They're two different things.
Mommy's boy is well, you're right.
Yeah. So I don't think there are a lot of guys that are mommy's boys are outstanding. They stand out.
Don't trip.
They stand out. I'm telling you. And I think for a lot of ladies, being a mommy's boy is a red flag. So once they start seeing that very strong connection, inability to make decisions without consulting her, that is the problem. But being close to your mother, I think that a lot of guys are close to their mothers. Yeah.
So today we'll be talking about father-son relationship, what it should be like, especially when you have a teenage son. First of all, I want to say
not just a teenage son, maybe a Gen Z.
A Gen Z.
It's different.
Because it's Gen Z, they are smart. Do you know that sometimes when we do some things, our parents have done all these things before, so they know. But there are some things that we invented. I'm even talking about millennials. We millennials, we invented that they will never find out about. Like they will not know the ways. I'm not imagining that all these Gen Z. What are the things that they invented that you cannot find out? Yeah. But then again, I feel like some of the things that you should discuss with your sons or your child, but most especially today we're talking about sons to fathers, is that you should teach them how to be vulnerable to you. All right. A lot of times it's always the iron and approach. Is always the
if I don't discipline him when he's
approach
young,
and all those kind of things,
he's going to grow up to become something else.
Exactly. Yes, that works sometimes, but you need to be very, very observant. If you're not creating an animal out of the boy, rather than trying to discipline and correct him. I talk about the fact that there are different types of correction. There's constructive correction and there's destructive correction, actually, because you might think you're actually correcting the child and the child will just be corrected just for that moment, or maybe just when he's around the family, and when he's outside, he would only see that, oh, he was just being, oppressed or, violated.
Yeah, and I just want to say that also I think it's very important for people to also not just pay attention to children's academics. In my own time or growing up, as a millennial, it was just a case of if you're not doing well academically, your life is over. But now I feel like a lot of parents now in this day and age are starting to see that a child may not be doing so well academically, but you can encourage him or her when it comes to talent, and I think that's stuff. Very
sports,
very
talent,
important.
Music, entertainment, arts, tech, stuff like that. So it's for me, I just want to say this. There are a lot of men out there that, because of the demands in the family, all right, the demands in the family, they get so engrossed with work, and the only time they are probably with their male child or their sons is probably when everybody's together. They don't have like lone father-son time, which you should have actually. If it is just when both of you are going to play like the game or watch a football match, or
especially as the guy is growing older,
yes, or just take the car to the mechanic together, and you need to. A lot of people actually don't pay attention to those details. You just notice that the only time you are with your child is when all of you are together.
So I think I noticed a reason why this thing happens a lot. I feel like a lot of times fathers have a lot of expectations from their sons.
Yeah.
So it's like you see your son growing up, and when the guy is paying too much attention to his looks and all of that, a father normally will be like, hey, that's not what guys do. Yeah. That's not what guys,
that's not what you're supposed
men
to
have
do.
a lot.
Pay attention.
Honestly, I think it's a lot. I think it happens the same way with women as well.
Yeah,
mothers have a lot more expectations from their daughters.
Yes.
So
of course
when people start to grow older,
they try to shape them the way they want them to be.
And also the way they were raised as well.
Exactly.
Sometimes forgetting that times have changed and people see things differently. A mother, who has a grown-up daughter will expect the daughter at this time of the evening, you have to be in the kitchen. You can't be pressing your phone. So I think it's mother, daughter, father, son, especially as the kids start to grow older. I think it's very important to, pay attention to how the relationship is going, But it's also important to tell the children, please stop ranking your parents. I feel like it's parents of these days are really trying hard to catch up with this. The trends are changing really fast.
It's evolving, but I also want to talk about, I want to share an experience here. And this happened, I think I was 14 or 15 when my dad sat me down to have my first sex education.
Oh, that.
I think I was 14 or 15. I can't remember particular, but I know it was between 14 and 15 when he sat me down. It was very awkward.
Really? Why was it?
Because the only time that he sat me down to actually talk to me was when I was not doing well academically.
Okay.
Or I was playing too much. So okay. I'm not the first one. I'm not the second one.
Yeah.
So when he just sat me down and started saying like, oh, it was so weird. It was so weird. Like my Bobsy was giving me the sex education when I was like 14, 15 there, and I was like, okay, this man, do you know that I've been watching a lot of Titanic.
For a long time.
But then again, I understood what he was trying to do. And I'm saying this because, you need to know when exactly to have this kind of conversation. We'll be right back after the short break. We need to actually talk about at what age is it okay to now start talking to your male children about, sex education,
and vice versa.
Relationship.
Mothers to the female children.
Yes, and also, we'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere.
That's right.
One Africa Global Foods is here to cater to all your food needs. From your African foodstuffs like Indomie instant noodles, fresh palm oil, beverages like Amstel Malta, Maltina, One African Global Food got you. Sister Precious, it's high time to stop that embarrassment begging people to bring African food for you when you can get it in the city that you find yourself. Go to One Africa Global Foods right now and get all your authentic African local foodstuffs. Whether you are in USA, Canada, Dubai, anywhere, all those foods you want to cook, vegetable soup, you need palm oil to do it, afang, everything. You don't need to let people be muting you on WhatsApp. Sister Precious, no more embarrassment again. Now it's time to order all your African local foodstuffs. They will bring it to you wherever you are, to your doorsteps. You hear me? Go to One Africa Global Foods right now. We're here and happy shopping. Mutane na duk inda kuke, One Africa Global Foods muna zuwa. Mes amis francophones, je sais que tout le monde va être content parce que maintenant toute la nourriture africaine est là. Fuse Unpotted.
I particularly cannot say that there should be a general age for a father to talk to his son, especially when it comes to sex education and responsibility. But be very observant, all right? And children are exposed to a lot these days, especially on the internet, especially from even music, football and stuff like that, all right? If you're
football?
Yes, because I mean, you can now go beyond just following the football game to now following your favorite football star's personal life.
Okay.
And you can begin to take.
I mean, even music is like a very big influence.
Do you understand? Music. I'm even saying
acting,
if the child is not a music fan or it's not someone that actually follows up on music, like, if it's football or something else, it might be following up on the person's personal life, because now social media now makes you feel somewhat connected. So be the one as a parent or as a father to actually, would I say, give your child first-hand information about very delicate things like this. And do not, I mean, I cannot say that there should be a general age. I was called by my popsy to sit down, and he started giving me all the sex talk and all that, and how condom is important, or how it's best to just stay away from it.
I can understand, because
my pops was telling me that, he married as a virgin and all this kind of stuff. I was like, okay.
But to be honest, I feel like your dad did an amazing job at the time, because I understand how hard it is.
He learned, actually.
It was really hard for men.
I was not the first or the second. He learned, actually.
I can promise you that in those days it was very hard for men to be vulnerable, especially with their sons.
Yeah.
In this day and age, it's slowly starting to get easier. Men can be friends with their sons. And the women have always been.
So there was a time when I now became so comfortable with my pops when having discussions, and I began to tell him that, okay, I've been dealing with anxiety for a long time, and these are some of the things that, because I mean, when I began to do therapy, and they said I need to heal from from hurts from the past, and I began to understand that, okay, there were things that even happened to me as a child that I could still remember, like,
but I couldn't talk about it.
But then I sat him down one time to talk about it. I didn't know there was one time that I wanted to go for this Christmas party or something like this in primary school or secondary, and you did not pay for it. Instead of telling me that that we could not afford it, the luxury of that time, the way you came about it was like, the price was just too much. It was outrageous. They are thieves. What kind of party are they doing that they were paying this amount?
You are keeping things in your mind.
No, I'm saying, no. I get you. I did not know that those. And I said, okay, if you had actually explained to me that, I know you would love to. My popsy is not really as social as I am. My brothers are not as social as I am. These are things that excited me as a kid at that time. But the fact that vulnerability in communication was not there, it was the hard guy he was using to tell me that I should cancel all those things. That why would I be wanting to party? Is it party that concerns me now? Do you understand? And those, like you said earlier on, fathers should learn how to be vulnerable. If you cannot afford something, there's a way to communicate, especially to your
even want to say something, and this is whether it's mother to daughter, or whether it's mother to the rest of the kids, or whether it's father to son. I just want to say that in this day and age, there's something called mental health. It's becoming a bigger discussion now than it was ever any time in history. People are talking much about mental health now. I think it's very important for parents to be very aware that children of these days are dealing with a lot when it comes to their mental health, and accommodate
for
many
triggers, actually.
Many triggers, many
things to influence.
Just even the fact that you have access to the internet as much as it has ever happened. So I mean, it's very important for people to be open-minded.
So please, to all the men out there, have a very cordial, intentional, subtle, sweet relationship with your son.
And boys can cry.
Boys can cry. Yes, let them know that you don't have to suck it all up in. Let's hear what you guys think on our social media platforms. Hit us up on Instagram. It is Fuse Local, all right? And on YouTube, The Fuse, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button so you can be alerted anytime we drop a new video. Hey guys, link up with your main man on all social media platforms, AB_AKYNZ.
And you'll find me on Instagram at Gabby.Gabby. To follow, guys.
From all of us here in the studio, stay fused, guys. Have a great week. All right, holla.
Upfront and personal, world-class business, world-class consultants.